Welcome to WakeGOV TV. I'm Eric Curry. We have several stories lined up for you today. With the holiday season here, we'll share with you some important tips to keep you safe. Plus, we'll highlight an event aimed at disposing unused prescription medicines safely. But first, if you're in need of a job or ready to reignite your career, well, this story is just for you. Capital Area Workforce Development is a public-private partnership that focuses on ensuring that the local workforce has the skills, training, and education to meet the needs of the employers that have businesses in this area. Joining us to talk about the services provided at the NC Works Career Center is Pat Sturdivant, Executive Director with Capital Area Workforce Development. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Can you talk a little bit about Capital Area Workforce Development and specifically the NC Works Career Center?
Well, the NC Works Career Center embraces the one-stop shopping concept. So this is the place you go when you need access to employment and training services and resources. One of the things we've been trying to change over the last couple of years is the perception that our career centers are unemployment offices. It's far from an unemployment offices. This is the place you go when you're trying to get access to employment and training services and resources. One of the key things we've been promoting in the last few years is work-based training. And this is where a job seeker who may not be that interested in going back to school and getting classroom training, but they still need to upskill. So we work with employers and identify the skills that are needed by the employer, look at the skills that the job seeker have, and then work a relationship out with the employer to say, we're going to provide a financial incentive for you to take a chance with this person and train them on the job.
Okay, let's say John Doe or Jane Doe decide to walk into one of the centers. What can they expect?
One of the first things that we do is provide an orientation, and we think that's important because we want to set expectations for the job seeker, and we also want to make them aware of all the services that are available to them. One of the next things that we do is do some type of assessment to see where they are, what their career goals are, so that we can work with them to develop the best plan as possible for them reaching their career goals. Once they're there, we do the assessment. We have training classrooms. We have a computer lab. One of our key partners is the community college. So we have career readiness workshops on a regular basis. And
obviously, because of the technology that's available, there's also resources online. Can you talk about ncworks.gov and why it's important for those job seekers to register online?
Excellent question and excellent point. NC Works Online is at the center of our services because this is more than just an online system. This is our job matching system. So it's important for job seekers to register, and not just register, but also build a profile in NC Works. When the user themselves are trying to go in and say, okay, these are my skills, this is my experience, I want to see what jobs are posted in the system that match my skills specifically. And what that does for the individual is say, okay, this is the job or career that I want. So these are the skills that I'm lacking. So that sort of helps guide them, well, this is the training that I need, these are the certifications that I need to make me competitive for a particular position.
And the center itself is also a place where employers can use as well.
Right, as I was just mentioning, employers register their jobs in NC Works. And so when they're looking for applicants or candidates to fill their positions, they either work with our employment counselors or they go in themselves. One of the other things, we've just recently moved to our career center, one of our career centers in Raleigh. So when we were working on the layout of that facility, we have one whole side dedicated to employers. So we have many interview rooms. So if we have smaller employers who may not have the space at their location to interview, they can schedule interviews at the center. As I said earlier, they can do targeted hiring events. We have network rooms, and sometimes we even have employers come in and just talk about some of the opportunities that they have or will have in the future.
You mentioned the Raleigh location. Are there other locations?
We have 6 locations. Our newest location is on Tillery, 1830 Tillery Place. We also have a location in the Swinburne building, and a location in Cary on Chatham, and a location in each one of the Wake County Regional Centers. That's Zebulon, Fuquay, and Wake Forest.
And finally, where can people learn more about any of the centers and some of the programs available?
We just launched our new web page. It's called capitalareancworks.com. So you can go there and find out about all the services that I talked about. And you can also go and click on the center that's closest to you to find out which services they provide.
Okay, Pat Sturdivant, Executive Director with Capital Area Workforce Development. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
When we return from our break, we'll continue our discussion on the services offered at the center by introducing you to a new and exciting training program that involves cyber defense. Stay tuned.
We're staying healthy.
We're making new friends. We're learning new things.
And having lots of fun. Join us at the Cary Senior Center, where we are creating active retirement years.
Welcome back. If you joined us at the beginning of the show, we talked about what staff at the NC Works Career Center is doing to assist those in a quest for a new job or to help recharge those with existing jobs. For job seekers interested in starting a career in cybersecurity, there is a unique program hosted by the center that may be just for you. Chris Simpson is project manager for the Cyber Defense Training Program and joins us to talk about this new and exciting adventure for, I'm sure, many job seekers. Chris, first, thank you for being here. And what is the Cyber Defense Simulation Training Program?
With the growing concern and need of cybersecurity in industry and government, Capital Area Workforce Development, NC Works Career Center, Wake Technical Community College, and Innovative Systems Group, or ISG, has designed a new program called the Computer Defense Simulation Training Program. This program addresses the education needs and employment work experience for somebody who's looking for a new job.
This is a unique program. What can people that decide to sign up to go through this program, what can they expect?
The CDST offers many things. What we're looking for is three different demographics of student trainees. We're looking for veterans, displaced IT workers, and young adults 18 to 24 years old. When they sign up and apply for this, they can take one of two tracks, cybersecurity tracks. One is the CompTIA track and the other one is the Cisco track.
Chris, what's the difference between the two tracks you mentioned?
You'll start off with a short class taught by Wake Technical Community College, which will teach you resume building, interview skills, professional social media such as LinkedIn skills, and help you set those up. Then you'll move into the CompTIA track, which teaches A+, Security Plus, and Network Plus. In order to move on to the Cyber Defense Simulation Training model, or that program, you'll have to pass those certifications. And then after you do those, pass those certifications, then you can go into the simulation modeling portion. When you take the Cisco track, that will consist of the CCNET, the CCNA, the CCNA security classes. You'll also have to, as you're going through those, take those certification tests and pass those before you move into the CDST program, which is the simulation modeling.
How does a prospective student sign up for this program?
As I said earlier, we're looking at three demographics. We're looking at veterans, displaced IT workers, and young adults aged 18 to 24. All they have to do is go out to www.cyberdefensenc.com, take a look at the CDST, select one of the three demographics they fall into, whether a veteran, whether a displaced IT worker, or a student young adult. Click on Learn More, read what we have on the page, and then fill out the application and hit Submit. Once they do that, then a representative will contact them a short period of time after that.
How important is it to have employer partners as well as apprenticeship and internships available for these students? Can you talk a little bit about that?
The employer partner piece is a very important part. What we want to do is not only do we want to train the prospective student trainee. What we want to do is make sure that they get work experience also. The CDST program actually gives them that work experience by simulating networks where they can attack, defend, perform penetration testing, among other cybersecurity skills that they will learn during their certification phase.
Are these paid internships, Chris?
Yes, these are paid internships through the NC Works Career Center. So if a business wants to hire an intern or an apprenticeship, they can do so. We recommend that all businesses that would like to work with an intern or apprentice sign up through NC Works with the NC Works Career Center.
And finally, this is a very unique program. Why is it so important to provide such a program?
It's important because if you take a look at what's happening in the world today, cybersecurity is a growing need. This program not only gives that student certifications that he or she will need in the industry or in government, but it'll also give them simulation training where they'll learn those vital skills in order to protect the network, and it'll provide them with work experience.
Chris Simpson, Program Manager with the Cyber Defense Simulation Training Program. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
When we return, we'll share with you some tips to make sure that you're prepared for any adverse weather condition while staying out of the hospital. Stay tuned. And welcome back. With an array of unexpected weather patterns approaching, it's important to prepare for the possibilities of ice storms and/or snow during the winter months. Joining us today to share some tips on keeping yourself out of the hospital is Jeffrey Hammerstein, District Chief with Wake County Emergency Medical Services. Thank you so much for being here. I guess the first question, Jeffrey, would be, what are some of the type of weather emergencies does Wake County EMS respond to every year?
Well, some of the things we see this time of year are simply the effects of the cold. We have people who are, particularly those who are more disposed to being out in the cold or being in a home maybe that's not heated or underheated, and just dealing with the effects of hypothermia.
Hypothermia tends to be really a problem for those vulnerable, such as the elderly and very young.
Sure, those end up being risk factors for a lot of different types of issues, and certainly it's true with hypothermia as well. If you have somebody who is long-term in an area or a home that's not quite as warm as it should be, you can see that maybe the medical history that they have kind of compounds that, and we have to be a little bit more careful about that. The other issue with heating the home is that there are some heat sources that are a little bit more dangerous than others. For example, it's absolutely vital that we don't use things like charcoal or those types of products to try to heat the home. They create dangerous gases that will very quickly be harmful to you. On that same note, just like you would have a smoke detector in the home, it's always a good idea to have a carbon monoxide detector in the home also, so that if there is a heat source that's causing a problem that could be dangerous to you, you'll be alerted to that and you can take action and give us a call.
And for those that think that they can beat Mother Nature and just stay out as long as possible, it doesn't take that long for you to start getting some of those symptoms of hypothermia.
That's entirely true. You really have to watch yourself. There's the hypothermia, there's also the frostbite issue, which takes a little bit longer to get, but it's a matter of keeping those fingers, toes, ears, those type of things, the tip of your nose covered and protected from those extreme cold temperatures when we have them, but also keeping a monitor on yourself. You know, if you're out there for long periods of time, pay attention to that. make sure you're dressed adequately and get in and get some warmth when it's time.
Some very innocent type events can also lead to having to go to the doctor's office and or emergency room. What are some of the common calls you get from those that are simply going outside to try to just take care of the home during these winter events?
Falls are not uncommon at all for us to respond to. You know, a lot of times we like to think, oh, I can handle this. It's just a couple of quick steps in the ice and no big deal. But a lot of times those are the ones that kind of get the snake bite of the ice. So don't be too proud to take a moment, maybe salt the steps, kitty litter, that type of thing that will add a little bit of traction, and just be careful. A lot of times we'll see also in parking lots, people will go to the store, go to the office, get out, find that one slick spot as they're walking across, and down they go, and it's a pretty hard hit. So it's not uncommon to see a broken wrist or a twisted ankle, that type of thing.
And what about traffic-related calls during the winter months? There's some tips that they could adhere to as well.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime there's frozen precipitation, we're going to see the problems on the roads. And every year, somebody in public safety will talk with media and get the word out, please stay off the roads unless it's absolutely necessary. And that really is a significant thing for us. Thing is, when there's snow and ice, the regular calls that we respond to, the regular needs are still there. They don't go away. Whether it's the chest pain or the stroke or the asthma attack, all of those continue on despite the weather. So anything that we can do, anything the community can help do to keep those roads open so that we can get where we need to get safely in an efficient manner, that's definitely a helpful thing. Not to mention the prevention of any traffic accident that someone may be involved in by being out on the icy road.
Okay, Jeffrey Hammerstein with Wake County EMS, thank you so much for being here. When we return, a member of Wake County Fire will join us to share tips on how you can protect your home during the holidays. Stay tuned.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Welcome back. According to the National Fire Protection Agency, winter is the peak season for U.S. home fires, with cooking and heating being the leading causes. Joining us to share tips on how we can prevent a tragedy or accident from occurring is John Calloway with Wake County Fire. Thank you so much for being here. During the holidays, what are some of the tips you can give to those that will spend a lot of time in the kitchen and a lot of things that they're doing at one time, but they need to pay attention to what they're doing in that room?
Well, thank you, Eric, for inviting me. And I love to cook, and that kitchen is the centerpiece for a lot of holiday family get-togethers. And one of the issues that we have is that when we're cooking, we get distracted. And so we want to make sure that when we're cooking, that we're right there around the kitchen and the stove, and we're observing what's being cooked.
And we find every year reports of house fires due to unattended turkey fryers that tend to burn up the balcony and just spread from there. What are some of the tips to those that may be using these appliances during the holidays?
Well, thank you for asking. I brought one of the pans here to demonstrate and talk about the turkey frying. Obviously, it's very popular to cook and deep fry the turkeys. The first thing that we want to do is we want to look at location. We want to make sure that we're not cooking inside the house or under a carport where the potential fire could build up and catch something else on fire. So we want to remove it away from the house, a good 25 to 30 feet away that we want to cook with. We also want to make sure that we have our cooker appliances properly working. For example, if you use propane, you want to have your propane tank that's connected correctly to the cooking apparatus. We want to make sure that it sits very firmly and doesn't be able to tilt off the apparatus, cooking apparatus. And then most importantly is trying to figure out the amount of oil that we're going to use to cook with a turkey. For example, you should take your cold frozen turkey before you start the whole process and place it in the pan. And then we want to fill it up with water. All right? Then we want to remove the cold turkey and take a wax pencil or marker and mark the level of oil that we need. So when you do place the apparatus, the pan on the cooking apparatus, you can pour the appropriate amount of oil.
John, another thing that is used improperly during the holidays, and a lot of electrical cords are used for a number of reasons, but what are some of the proper uses of electrical cords that folks really don't understand, that you can actually put more stress on one cord than the wattage allows?
Very good question. Probably one of the higher percentage fires that we have in Wake County are due to electric cord usage. And we want to try to educate folks to use the proper cordage for your whatever apparatus or appliance you may be using. For example, I have some cords here that I brought to talk and discuss with the audience here. We have several different types of extension cords that people are used to using. The number one thing is important to know is that you want to make sure your cord has a Underwriter's Laboratory attached to the cord that gives you proper wattage. Every appliance that you use has a different amount of pull or wattage or on your cord. And if you overextend what it's recommended, you may have a potential fire cause. For example, you'll see a variety of different types of cords that may or may not be proper use in your house. You'll have several ones that have different adapters that people are plugging in too many appliances on it and are overloading the cord.
What about portable electric heaters?
You need to read the manufacturing guides when you buy an electric heater. They normally always say to plug it directly into the wall socket so it provides more protection, not into extension cords. There's also certain information about your electric heater. For example, we do not want to get combustible products so close to the heater element of your electrical heater.
Also, that becomes very popular during this time, of course, Christmas trees and holiday decorations, both inside and out. Folks will put a lot into it, but at the same time, there's some simple tips that they need to remember as well.
Well, that is correct. First, let's look at the Christmas tree. If you are using a live Christmas tree, we want you to keep it wet and watered properly. Second of all is all these lights that you do put up, you want to make sure that you're using proper connections and that your electrical panel box can handle the electrical load. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, then maybe you need to discuss this with an electrician. The final item that we see during the holidays are candles. And the individuals will leave these candles unattended and they don't have a brace underneath. For example, we highly recommend a metal pan or a ceramic that the candle sits on, so in case there is an accident.
And I guess the final question in this segment, one of the most important tools to keep anyone safe in a home are smoke detectors.
That's a very good point. The smoke detector is the most important item that you could have in your house. What else is going to wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning if there's a fire in your house? We are really pushing, our theme this year is to hear the beep where you sleep. We really want these smoke detectors to work.
Great tips. John Calloway with Wake County Fire. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
When we return, we'll share with you highlights of the successful Operation Medicine Drop event that occurred not too long ago. Stay tuned.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Wake County Human Services, along with the Wake County Sheriff's Department and Safe Kids North Carolina, hosted Operation Medicine Drop recently at Wake County's Public Health Center on Sunnybrook Road. The event was designed to offer residents a place to safely dispose of potentially dangerous, expired, unused, and unwanted prescription drugs, over-the-counter medicines, and controlled substances.
Operation Medicine Drop is a partnership between Wake County Sheriff's Office, Safe Kids Wake County, and of course, Human Services. This is our first time as a Human Services organization doing this type of event, but we're glad that we have our other two partners with us today here at the Sunnybrook building. Citizens coming by today to drop off their medications are bringing to us expired or unused medications or over-the-counter drugs. We've asked them to come in and drop those off today rather than exposing them in improper manner, such as flushing them down, which would affect our water sources, or just simply throwing them away in the trash where they may be picked up or used by others without its intended purpose. Once the medications are dropped off here, they are going to be properly disposed by our Sheriff's Office, as well as any of the over-the-counter medications that are discarded here today. We also have a process by which those will be discarded or incinerated. If individuals don't have an opportunity to come and bring their medications today, there are 6 permanent take-back sites here in Wake County, and we will have that posted for individuals to be able to access those. So at any time during the year, citizens can go and properly discard those in those permanent take-back locations, and there is a mechanism for proper disposal once they've been deposited there. We are encouraging adults to keep their medications in one location, and we actually have an incentive that we're giving today with a medicine bag that individuals can keep their medicines in that medicine bag. That serves for a couple of different purposes. One is in the event that EMS has to come to your home, all of your medications are centrally located. The other thing is that that bag would also assure that those medications are kept up and out of the reach of small children, because once again, we know that that can lead to accidental poisonings if small children get into those.
In addition to preventing accidental poisonings, Wake County staff report that the event took over 3,400 controlled pills off the streets with an estimated street value of over $41,000. For more information on permanent medicine drop sites around the county, visit WakeGOV.com/human services. Keep up with the latest Wake County news by visiting us online at WakeGOV.com/news or on Facebook or Twitter. That's our show for today. Thanks again for watching.